Afternoon again, year 11. Just another quick one for America as well, because obviously Elizabeth in America papers, so it wouldn't make any sense to start talking about Germany or medicine, would it? So I'm going to go quickly with Wall Street crash. And I've done one on this before, but people seem to like the dual-coded ones done, as opposed to my old school ones, which is me talking in the whiteboard in school. So here we go. Right. First thing to mention about the Wall Street crash is, if you look at this picture here, there are basically long and short term causes of the Wall Street crash, and they sound suspiciously like the reasons for the boom, and that's because the two are inevitably the same. Okay, but we usually use the word over when we're talking about the factor, and that gives us the reason for the crash as opposed to a reason for the boom. So when you talk about the boom, don't use the word over. Okay, when you talk about the crash, definitely do. Right, so the first one is overproduction. That is a long-term thing. It's been happening in the United States for a while. They've been producing too many goods that they can't sell. Tariffs mean they can't sell them abroad because the Republican presidents have been protecting American goods. And basically, the people in America that can't afford them, can't afford them. So they're producing too much stock, which is really bad for businesses, and we can't sell it. Right, the second one is this, I've just mentioned it there really, haven't I? Is this unequal distribution of wealth. So the people in America that have got the things that are produced in the boom, like fridges, radios, etc., have got them. And the people that can't afford them, can't afford them. So basically that's driving kind of this overproduction, is the people like black Americans, like immigrants, etc., can't afford consumer goods. So there's massive unequal distribution of wealth in the United States. Okay, there's also, underneath the surface, a decline in the value of land and property. Now, that's always bad for the economy. I don't want to get into the ins and outs specifics of why. Number one, because I don't really know, and number two, because you don't really need it for a GCSE exam. But all you do need to know is that land and property values are declining in America, which means lots of people have bought land that they can't sell, and houses that are not worth what they bought them for. So that is a problem in the economy, and it's one of the underlying factors that leads to the Wall Street crash. Okay, next one is our Republican presidents. Harding, Coolidge and Hoover are the big three that we learn about. Okay, now they have been basically just allowing everything to happen without really doing anything. We call that laissez-faire, don't we? They've also been introducing tariffs to protect American goods. So they've been laissez-faire in terms of looking after the economy. We've been very hands-on in trying to protect the economy as well, at the same time by not allowing foreign goods to enter America. Now what that means is the Americans can't shift their stuff abroad, because other countries obviously put tariffs on them as well. So American presidents, with their things like the Ford and Macumber tariff, with things like laissez-faire, with their rugged individualism, have not really paid much attention to the economy, specifically to the stock market. They've been letting it roll, believing that the good times will carry on forever and ever and ever, and they possibly will not. Okay, now, this is where we get into, I'm going to reveal all these at the same time, because they're all really to do with the stock market. Now, this one down the bottom here, this idea, a lot of people say, well, credit's responsible for Wall Street crash. And you're right, easy credit, too easy credit, people can't pay it back, or too much credit is out there, people owe too much debt, is bad, and it causes the Wall Street crash. But we've also got the fact that stocks and shares are bought with borrowed money, which means if your stocks and shares crash, not only do you lose the value of your stocks and shares, you also owe money to someone for the money that you borrowed in the first place. And I'll leave it at that. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. We call that buying on the margin. Okay. And also, if we look at this little graph here, it shows what's been happening to the price of stocks and shares. And the reason that people have been buying them because they think they'll go up in value, and then suddenly they start to decline. So people have been over speculating, is what we call that. Okay. Now, when people start to see them go down, they do this. They grab their head in their hands, they start crying, they start panicking, and they panic sell. So there is a loss of confidence, and panic selling is a reason for the Wall Street crash. Okay, and that leads to these really bad days on the stock market, which I always get the wrong way around, but a Black Tuesday and Black Thursday. One of the days, I'm pretty sure it's Black Thursday is the first one, 13.5 million shares are sold, and Black Tuesday, 16.5 million shares are sold. And they're obviously sold for a lot less than they were bought for, because people are just trying to get out and recoup whatever money that they can, because obviously they've borrowed as much money as they possibly can to try and make as much money as they possibly can, and then it's all gone horribly wrong. And that leads to the Wall Street crash of 1929, where basically stocks and shares in October bottom out, businesses collapse, stockbrokers are rumoured to, in many places, have thrown themselves off the roofs of skyscrapers, and that leads us into the period that we call the Depression. So there you go, guys. That was the Wall Street crash in under 5 minutes. Good luck in the exam. Oh, this always comes up as well, so just make sure you are good at it and you know the main factors.